Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another special ranking video. Tonight, I will be ranking all of the Friday the 13th Final Girls. And this includes all of them from every movie, even the reboot and, some of the later ones that had really nothing to do with the actual timeline. I'm going to try and curb my language because some of these upset me greatly. But no promises on that. All right, so let's begin this list with number 12. And my number 12, there's no question about this. This is the easiest one out of all these. And that is Lorie Campbell, as played by Monica Keena in Freddy vs. Jason from 2003. I mean, this character is insufferable. She is horrible. I could not stand her from the minute she came into the film. And they had a better choice for, which you'll hear that a lot from me throughout this. They had a better choice for a final girl with Catherine Isabel's Gibb, but they chose to kill her off. As the first of the three main girls in there, she was the first to go out of them, and it was just so stupid. So stupid to take the most likable and the coolest one out of the whole group and kill her off and keep this dumb bitch alive. She's horrible. All right, so let's move on to number 11. And my number 11, this is a pretty easy one too, is Renie Wickham, as played by Jensen Daggett from Jason Takes Manhattan from 1989. Ah, God. This character is not insufferable. She's kind of a sweet girl, but she has no real personality. She's boring. She has nothing that she does throughout this story except get people killed, which is kind of infuriating when that happens with a character, is when a character causes other characters to die. They had better choices, just like with Lorie. They had better choices than her with Kelly Hughes, Ava, and Saffron Henderson's JJ. Either one of those characters would have made a much better final girl in this film. Of course, this film was not savable anyway, even if you would have had a really good final girl, but damn, this movie sucked because of how bad the final girl was. All right, so let's go on to number 10, and my number 10 is Jessica Campbell, as played by Carrie Keegan in Jason Goes to Hell from 1993. This character could have been good. It could have been a cool character, but moment through moment throughout this film, I almost did it, I almost cussed, it has her doing stupid things, like Steven saves her life and she punches him in the nose and kicks him out of the door and chases him off and drives off and leaves him behind, and it's like, you are a dumbass. You are a dumbass. And you're saying that to this girl all throughout this movie because she is so stupid. So, I actually like Jason Goes to Hell. I just do not like the final girl in this. Alright, so coming in at number 9, we have Whitney Miller, as played by Amanda Rigetti in Friday the 13th, 2009. Now, this is another one. You had a better choice for a final girl in this thing with Danielle Panabaker's character of Jenna. But they decided to pull the wool out from under us and kill her ass off and keep Whitney alive. Even though Whitney did nothing but get captured by Jason, and he kept her captive down in the lower levels of the and it's just like, it was just weird. It was stupid to do that, have this character. That character should have died if they were going to have that character in there at all. Because it still would have made Jared Padalecki's thing where he's searching for her and trying to find her work. You just wouldn't have found her alive. And that would have made me feel a lot better, because Daniel Panabaker's character of Jenna could have survived then. But let's move on to my number 8. And my number 8 is Chris Higgins, as played by Dana Kimmel in Friday the 13th, Part 3 from 1982. Now, hear me out on this one. I know a lot of you are probably jumping to conclusions here and thinking that I'm crazy. But hear me out. This character, not a badly written character by any means, but I don't think Dana Kimmel is a good actress in the least. She's very wooden. She doesn't put a lot of emotion into anything that she's doing in here. And again, this film, they had 2. Just like with Jason Takes Manhattan, they had 2 choices for Final Girl that would have worked a lot better than Chris Higgins, and that would have been Tracy Savage's Debbie or Catherine Parks' Vera. But instead, both those characters were killed, and they kept this lame, bad acted Chris Higgins and make her just kick the shit out of Jason throughout the ending of this movie. And it's just like, why? She didn't earn this. She sucks. She's horrible. Not one of my favorite Final Girls. All right. So, coming in at number 7, we have Alice Hardy, as played by Adrienne King in the original 1980 Friday the 13th. Now, I know, might get more discord from that. You guys might start saying, oh my God, 2 of the best, and you're putting them so low. Well, Alice is a quite dull character, and there's nothing she does throughout this film, much like some of these others lower on this list, that actually, makes her a good final girl. And in fact, I think the better final girl would have been Lorie Bartram's Brenda. She felt like the better final girl than what Alice would have, but they killed her off instead. And the only time Alice becomes a fairly good final girl is in the final moments with Pamela when she's fighting her. And even then, that could have been done a lot better, I think, with the Brenda character. Because she seemed to have a lot more spark and a lot more fight to her than Alice seemed to have. All right, so coming in at number 6, we have Pam Roberts, as played by Melanie Kinnaman in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning from 1985. Now, this character is kind of hampered by having Reggie the Reckless in there, and he's basically a final girl in and of himself, even though he's a young kid. But I think Melanie Kinnaman made this character very likable, very relatable, and she was a very well portrayed, even though Melanie Kinnaman seems like she didn't like the movie, but she actually didn't let that hamper her performance. Her performance still looks like she is trying in this, which is more than I can say for my number 8, which was Chris Higgins. I don't think Dana Kimmel actually wanted to do part 3. I should have mentioned that on there, but now I'm mentioning it on Pam. But unlike her, like I said, Pam was well played all the way through this, and you didn't get any vibes that she didn't want to be there. All right, so coming in at number 5, we have Tina Shepard, as played by Laura Park Lincoln in The New Blood from 1988. All right, so really, this character is likable. She's likable. Laura Park Lincoln makes her a likable character, but without her powers, I don't think she makes a very good final girl. It's only because of her powers that she becomes an interesting final girl. If she was a normal final girl like all of these others and had no special abilities or anything like that, she would be pretty bland and pretty boring, I think. But like I said, she gets a little bit of a push up on my rankings just because of her powers. All right, so coming in at number 4, we have Rowan LaFontaine, as played by Lexa Doing in Jason X from 2001. Now, this character is a very, very good final girl. She is strong from the get-go. She is a very independent-minded woman. She doesn't take any shit off of her bosses trying to tell her what to do at the beginning of the story. When she wakes up in this different timeline, knowing that Jason is still around, that these dipshits have kept him around, she knows the danger, and she tries to warn everyone and everything. So she is a very smart, very intelligent, and very badass, cool character from the get-go all the way up until the end of the film. And she is so well played by Lexa Doing in here. All right, so coming in at number 3, we have Trish Jarvis, as played by Kimberly Beck from the final chapter from 1984. Now, this is my favorite Friday the 13th film. It is just not my favorite final girl. Now, Trish is kind of like some of these others. I don't think Kimberly Beck really wanted to do a Friday the 13th movie. And she was just collecting a paycheck here for this one. But, like I said, just the same way with Pam, with Melanie Kinnaman, she does not let that hold back her performance. She still gives an excellent performance as Trish. And she is excellent all throughout this film as that character. Excellently done. All right, so coming in at number 2, we have Megan Garris, as played by Jennifer Cook in Jason Lives, 1986. Now, this character is just so fun and so cute and adorable, and she is so well played by Jennifer Cook. She is just one of the sweetest but snarkiest and most fun final girls that you will ever have in any of the Friday the 13th films, and I absolutely adore her character. She is only upstaged by one other character, in my opinion. And since you probably have rounded this off who that person is, I'm going to tell you. My number 1 is Jenny Field, as played by Amy Steele in Friday the 13th Part 2 from 1981. Now, this character is very intelligent. She is very, very cool as a character. She so well played by Amy Steele. I just absolutely love her performance here all around the board. She's not a boring character. She's interesting all the way through it, and she is a fighter as well. She has all the makings of a perfect final girl, and that is why she is my number 1. So what do you guys think of my list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'm sure some of you do and would rather have Chris Higgins and Alice Hardy higher on this list. But this is my list, and keep that in mind. If you disagree, let me know your rankings in the comments down below. All right. But if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. As a Dark Knight Fan Plus member, you have access to an area on the channel right now where you can request a movie, TV series, or ranking video of your choosing. And when that video goes up, it will go up for all Plus members prior to it going up on the schedule for other subscribers. So if you want to get interactive and help me to get more movies and TV shows, whatever, reviewed on this channel that I might not normally do, become a Plus member. And if you missed last month's ranking video, check out the link above. And if you missed any of our other ranking videos, check out this playlist and get caught up.